Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 2 of Thiquetalk Podcast with your favorite hosts, Tee.Nell Vonn.J. How do you feel, brother?
Feeling well. How are you feeling?
It is Cinco de Mayo, baby. I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. Yeah. That speaks to maturity. The girls are getting older because usually we will be outside enjoying some tacos and margaritas. But I also have to be the girl to say I did not forget November 2024. So you bitches are still not getting my money just yet like that, okay? No Sade.
I will vote for
For
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Please insert that.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump. Yes, Mr. Trump. We love you.
Seriously, no.
I'm screaming.
Welcome back to another episode, brother. And I'm especially excited because this is our first episode with some featured guests for Season 3. And tonight's episode topic is be called The Mind Games, The Mind Games, The Mind Games. In the words of my girl, Vicky, you can't trust them, you can't trust them, you can't trust them.
You can't trust them. You can't trust them.
And our other guest host going to tell us, you can't find one, you can't find one, you can't find one. Baby, your preferences are out of order. But no, seriously. But welcome back, everybody. To all of you who are watching and listening, I hope you enjoy episode 1 as we rebranded and rethicked our brand, baby. We feel really good. We're excited for the year. I do want to say this as we're going into the episode. We are 2.5 weeks away from what I call the Punk Olympics, darling. Washington, D.C. Black World Pride this year is in 2.5 weeks. And y'all, guess what? It's Vonn.J's first time doing DC Pride.
I think people think that it's so absurd because I lived in DC for what, 7 years, and I've never been to Pride. So, we're gonna have a good time.
It is shocking. It is shocking. I think people are more shocked that you're my best friend and you've never been to Pride because the girls know I attend that gay family reunion every year. It's not changing.
Yeah, ever since the girl got a little taste, honey, she been hooked ever since, honey. What's they say? Once you go DC Pride, you don't go no.
No, seriously. But we did talk about alternating. We did talk about alternating because we was like, maybe next year we do PVR or something, just thinking like 1 year on, 1 year off next year. Just kind of switched up. We're going to see. I think the girls going to end up.
Girl.
Yeah, that was more of my girls.
Okay.
That wasn't me. That was more of them. But no, I'm excited to see you in 2.5 weeks. And it's also your birthday, Gemini season. The girls are turning 45. I'm excited. Okay, bitch. I know you be 33.
Wow.
Me too.
I know Tee.Nell just told everybody that he knew me for 10 years, but he do not know me because the girl don't even know my birthday. How old I'm turning to my birthday. That is insane.
Girl, I know you're 2 years older than me. You're 32 because I'll be 30 this year. I just don't want to come to the realization. That's all.
But to try to up my age is insane.
Ain't that real? Anyway.
It's cool, girl. On to the next.
I am weak. So let's talk about something a little more serious, I guess we can say. How has work been? How has your week been?
Man, it's only Monday. But today was a hard day.
The previous week. Yeah, I'm talking about the previous week because you've been on the go. You've been at trail rides, brunches, DC. You've been doing day turnarounds, and you.
I know it's been a lot. We went to Friday. I didn't do anything. I did my hair, child. You can't even tell I did it Friday because it looked like a frizz mess. So Saturday I did go to brunch with my cousins and my family. Had a cute little time. Brought Quisha with me. She loved my little family or whatever. Real ghetto country people. It was a good little time. And we spent all day there. We was there. We went to one party, went to another party afterwards. I got to see one of my best friends from elementary school. And then we brought our tails on back up here. And then was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Went to church.
Mm.
Then I hit the road and went to DC for a brunch that I thought was only going to be like 2 hours. Ended up being 3.5 hours, 4 hours. Actually, it
Ooh.
was longer than that. It was from three. I left at 8, so it was 5 hours. But I had a good time, and I did not
Mm-hmm.
mind. You know, when you having a good time and you catching the vibe, you don't be wanting to leave. So I stayed, and I kept checking the GPS to see how long would it take me to get home because I'm like I want to be home by
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
So end up getting out of there at 8 o'clock. Going on
Mm.
the road, got home at 10 o'clock. Was able to feed my dog, take her outside, have a cute little time, watch Ratchet TV Sunday. And then I woke up tired for work today, and it was gloomy outside, and it was just all bad. It just goes downhill from there. You don't get enough rest, and then the next day is just blah. So here we are. We're trying. But how was your weekend? I know you had a couple events in Charlotte this weekend.
That was my weekend. I almost forgot. My weekend was quite adventurous. I went to a friend of mine's probate on Saturday. He crossed oh he crossed Q. And so we went to that, myself and my really good friend Shayna, who's a Delta. So we weathered the storm because it was literally a monsoon outside on the way back. Did that, and the girls, just hung out all weekend, met a few people. Child, I ended up flirting with a white man at the bar. We will dive into that, I guess, another time, because I don't care what color these people are, red, white, yellow, green, black, blue. Niggas ain't shit but hoes and
You're supposed to
tricks.
stay there for the dating part. You gotta wait until our special guests come up, and you need to talk about that.
Oh, no, we could talk about it further. I just wanted to lay the foundation for what's being discussed. And then, of course, Sunday, the girls went to brunch. The girls, hung out. And then, of course, I've met some more men. And apparently, I'm supposed to go see Sinners a couple of times this week. And I don't think it's happening at all because people play too much. So it was just that. And then I think my job knows that vacation is coming up. They worked me like a Hebrew slave. That may be
Mm.
offensive, but that is a black people saying. Sorry. But
You
all
know,
in all, baby, I'm blessed.
yeah, they know. Of course they know. It's in the thing. But I think that they just be like, okay, well, she's gonna be gone for a whole week. We need to get some stuff out of her before she leaves. She thinks she's gonna get that free money while she gone. Not happening. Not happening.
Because
Mm-mm.
I'm definitely putting them on D&D all week.
As you
Just
should,
saying.
because it's vacation, baby. If I have to work, that means I need to charge hours. I'm not charging hours, so
Right.
therefore I will not be answering my phone. This phone, this little work phone, she gonna be on, but she gonna be on D&D. I need it so I can take pictures. My camera broke on my phone, so I be having to take pictures on mine.
You keep saying that, but whenever I have your phone, it don't be broke.
It's broke.
Wow.
Very
Well, at
much
least it's
blurry, Anna.
well, at least we're not broke. Thank you. That's a blessing. But anywho, May is birthday month for you. May is probably
It is.
but of course we had to recognize May for being Mental Health Awareness Month. And so
Yes.
tonight's episode, we have some great guests that will not only guide us through mental health while dating and while being black, but also mental health while being queer. So I'm really trying to get to the guests for the night. But in honor of Cinco de Mayo, we still want to recognize the cocktails, darling. So the thick tail of the week goes to Miss Margarita, honey.
Yes, ma'am.
What your margarita made with tonight?
Disgust. Very cutesy, very demure. She looks cute, but she nasty. I added that raspberry flavoring that we use for
Oh,
the
she's always
morning
doing something.
recording. And when I tell you, she's disgusting, y'all. I'm gonna sip on it because you don't always look around these spots.
No, you don't. Well, it wasn't good when you made it at Valentine's Day either, so I don't know why you tried it again.
It was because we had like other things in there. I was like, maybe it was the other things, but clearly it was actually the raspberry. The raspberry is disgusting. I'm gonna throw that out. It don't need to sit in my cabinet
Mm.
because it's not no use for it. But yeah, what about yours? I see yours is red as well.
So tonight I'm drinking a Thique-o-rita of my version. We have a little Casadores in here, Blanco, and I did a little Red Bull, the new one, the white peach, along with a strawberry lime mix, and a little bit of simple syrup to balance it out. So she's actually really tasty. I'm
Let
enjoying
me
this like
test
a
it.
carbonated margarita. I
Mm.
just hope I don't get it on this fucking white, because That would be atrocious.
It'll be a
So
tragedy.
to the
It's cute
Thiquetalk.
though. Yeah, I don't have any garnishes today. It's given very much last minute thrown together.
Oh,
Cheers,
okay.
girl. To a
Well, I mean, for the
successful
quality of
episode
the drink,
too.
no need to dress it up too bad.
You know, when something don't taste right, if it's not good on the inside, at least it can look the par. So I wish I would have put a little, garnish on it to give it,
Sounds like
the
a lot of men.
effect. So,
Right.
that's just something introduced, I guess.
And you look good tonight. So I also want to recognize today is May 5th, but it's the night of the Met Gala, darling. So we will be talking about that later. But shout out to you being in a suit jacket because it gives to the theme of the Met Gala this year, which is all about tailoring men's fashion, spotlighting Andre Leon Talley and people of that era. So that's why you see the girls with our little suit jackets on. It's giving structure.
Let me give y'all some insight for the background, okay? The girl told me to wear a white button up, so I just so happened to text her around 7:35, 7:40, and I said, "So what are we wearing white button ups?" And the girl says, "No, I have a cute little blazer set." I said, "Oh,
Well, I just was trying to go with what I was seeing the girls do.
And you threw a loop, you threw a wrench in there, and girl, I had to go and find something to put on. I put it on, child. We here. I'm glad y'all can only see me
Put
from
on
the
for my city.
chest.
From the chest up. No, seriously, because they would never be able to take what I have on beneath this. But no. So yeah, but shout out to the Met Gala. The actual title of this year was Super Fun. So Tailor in Black style. Tailored for you. It's all about how it fits. It's all about how it looks. It's all about how it feels. But most of all, it's the African American culture that's being highlighted. I think somebody interviewed Whoopi Goldberg tonight because she looked amazing. And one of his biggest questions to her was, what does this thing mean to you? And she said, it lets me know that they see us. And I couldn't agree.
You know how some people just are so deep? And I would have got asked that question. I would be like, oh, I just feel as if, it just shows how clean and sleek we are, how
they see us.
It's very high level, but she's like, oh no, they see us. I feel like they rehearse these things because there's no way you thespians are that deep.
No, I think when you're somebody like Whoopi Goldberg that's been doing this for a long time and you're a talk show host, there are certain things that come to your mind that normal people wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think reading helps. And I need to start reading more because I feel like when you read, you're able to pull these more in depth, responses. And it was a short answer. They see us. 3 words. Bitch, I said 3 letters. I'm slow. That wasn't the right word to use for Mental Health Month either. To all of our listeners, you love me, I know. But anyway, moving on. So tonight we do have some guests that I have to bring on stage now, Franny, because I'm excited to have a conversation with them. Our first guest is a veteran to Thiquetalk podcast. We officially deemed him as a Thiquette tonight. He is all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, but he's one of our really good, not just associates, but he's really a good friend of ours. And that is no further or no due than Lamont White, also known as the gay dating coach, not just of Atlanta, and honestly, not just of the United States, baby. She is world renowned. On Wednesday nights, she does her Shoot Your Shot, where you go up there, you tell who you are, and you allow all these people who are watching from anywhere from the United States to the UK to Africa. Bitch, wherever the fuck these people be at. Sometimes it be like broad daylight and it's midnight here. But he also specializes in matchmaking. Like, I really want the people to understand this man is somebody you want to invest in. I told Vaughn the other day, if I don't have a man by the end of this year, I'm going to go and suck it up, pay the $1,500 or $2,000, how much ever it costs, and put me on a plan. Now, I hope he find me somebody, because I'm going to be mad after them call a dispute with my bank if I can't find nobody. But no, I have full faith that that's the man you want to hire. So we had to get him on this episode tonight so we can talk about mental health and dating and the culture in general. So without further ado, Lamont White, everybody.
Or hilarious in the introduction is ridiculous. Thank you for having me back, as always.
You're welcome.
For joining us, Lamont.
Yes. How do you feel tonight?
Well, I thought I'd jump in with the Met Gala button-up white theme that you all had. So, I thought I would zhuzh it up a little bit for you.
You look good.
A little tassel moment.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
Mhm.
I gotta represent for the middle age, a little bit older men tonight. Okay, I'm the middle aged man over here.
Feels good to be in a room with some seasoned saints tonight.
Oh, jeez.
But we're excited to have you on, Lamont. Before we bring our next guest up, I do want to ask you a question. What does mental health mean to you in the Black queer community?
There's so many intersections that we talk about mental health, the queer community. Again, there's still stigma, as you know. People will rather go to the gym, um, look on YouTube, they'll go pray instead of going to the damn therapist. I'm like,
Mhm.
go to the therapist and take your medication. Like, there's no shame, and especially for Black gay men, um, the world has continuously put out negative ideas and thoughts about who we are. Yeah, you're going to be a little wounded. So go to
Yeah,
therapy to kind of unlearn some of that crap. There's no shame in that.
I agree. Um, well, I want to introduce the next guest, but I'm gonna leave that to Vaughn. I will say how I found our next guest. It was just so random. I was scrolling on Instagram one day, and I was like, what is this? And I saw all these gay men gathering in a place. I'm like, oh, this is cute. And I thought it was a one situation. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. But then I saw it was a consistent thing. And I'm like, oh, we have to have this person on. And so, look, Vaughn, do you mind sharing who was our next guest?
So, our next guest is coming from none other than the big Lone Star State, Texas. He is the curator of Fellow, a space where people of color, gay, bi, trans men find community, support, and empowerment. Welcome to Thiquetalk Podcast, Anthony Roberts.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Y'all look amazing.
Hello.
I
Y'all
hope
know
you
I
enjoyed
gotta
your
Welcome.
go back to my
introduction.
picnic.
Child, it was a struggle, honey. The girls ain't do their research. No, I did my research. That's how I got that slogan in there. That piece where it comes from. What the space? I did a little research.
Hey, man.
But how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm well, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. It's nice to meet you all, actually. So I'm really excited to be here.
So,
Great.
of course, I'll ask you the same question, Tony, and I'm so excited to have you because I really do admire what I see you all have been doing and what how you've been progressing. But what does mental health mean to you in the Black queer community?
What does mental health mean to me in the Black queer community? I would have to kind of echo some of Lamont's sentiment, but I would also say that it represents a almost like a hidden treasure. We have a tremendous opportunity to really upgrade the quality of our lives when we understand what we have in exploring and investing in our mental health. Lamont said it very well. We in our community, we will prioritize so many other things, and we will leave little investment or finance or resource towards going to a therapist. I would also even like to add that mental health goes even so much further beyond even having a therapist and a counselor. Yes, that's critical, it's necessary, but it also is just like going to the gym. You can have a good coach, good a good coach. But if that's all you're doing, then you've left a lot on the table. So I'm actually very excited about our conversation tonight and about the idea of mental health because we can redeem some time when we begin to invest in that area.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining, and thank you both for joining
Yeah,
us
thank you.
tonight for our second episode of season 3. I'm gonna be honest. It's funny saying season 3, especially with because I'm like, we really on season 3. That was fast, and it ain't easy.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah, moving along. Congratulations.
Very
Absolutely.
fast. Thank you.
We
As you can
plan on
see, the
having some
girls did.
fun tonight. And we plan on having a lot of fun tonight, some real talk, and some kikis tonight, y'all. So I will give a disclaimer. I don't like to say this is a safe space because I feel like that's a heavy word to use, and I might not be responsible enough to have that for you. But this is an open space, and this is a what's the word I'm looking for? A consent space. So whatever you are okay with is what we're okay with. And if you need to say stop, I kind of go too far sometimes. My viewers and listeners know, like, just say Tee.Nell, that's enough. and I
Just
will
throw the
listen.
church finger up.
Bring
throw
it
the church
back.
finger up.
So without any other stops or hesitations, we are at your favorite part of the show, Vonn.J. Baby, I'm gonna let you introduce this because I know how you like to work it. So I'm gonna give it to you, and I hope our guests are ready for some of these questions.
Yes. So this segment we call I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. But yes, this is our way of getting to know our guests. It's a quick little this or that moment for us to give you a few statements and you will choose which one that fits you best. Okay? Does
Clutching
that
invisible
work?
pearls. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's go. We're gonna start off pretty light. Tee-Nell, of course, like I said, she's the fire, so she's gonna give a little rah at the end. Um, but yes, a vacation or a vacation with like friends. Either one can go first. Lamont, you're at the top. You can go first.
Absolutely a vacation. Have you seen my husband? I'll see
Ooh.
the friends when I see the friends. Goodbye.
Get into it, okay? What about you, Tony?
I'm without a husband, so we will be going with the vacation with the friends.
Okay. But if I had one,
If
give me the
I,
vacation.
hey man, yes, definitely that. Prioritize the day over the friends. If I had one,
Okay. All right. So next we have a spa day or a gym day.
Oof. What? A spa day. Why am I going to a gym day to wear my ass out? No.
Weak. Some of the
Oh,
girls can't live without the
geez.
gym nowadays.
Yes, the girls, they go on vacation. They got to be at the gym early in the morning to get their workout in before that day starts. So,
You
some
got
of the
to
girls,
drag me
that's
to
how
the
they
gym.
are.
You have to drag me to the gym.
What about you, Tony?
Well, we are in perilous times, so I would be also going to a spa day. They can have the gym. I like it in its place, but we're in spa season right now. This is dispensation of the spa. Amen.
Period.
Uh-huh.
Me too. I'm doing both actually. I have gotten into going to the gym, trying to get on my little weight loss journey, get my health together, as well as when I finish and I'm feeling a little, tight, I'm going to the spa so they can, rub me down, get me good, get these knots out.
That was a good
Yeah.
PR
Okay.
answer. How cute.
Wow.
What kind of
Just
spas do
saying.
y'all go to? Maybe that'll change your answer. Vonn.J, what
What's
what
yours,
kind of
Tee-Nell?
spa?
I don't. So to be honest, I don't work out. So therefore, put me in a nice spa, not an erotic one. I'm not going for the happy endings. I heard you, Tony. So no, I'm not going to that. I am a girl that believes in being in the privacy of our own home. You will not get me on camera and use it later once I hit the red carpet. No, ma'am.
I'm squealing.
So, but give me the spa. Now, I will go to like one of those community spas where you like sit in the mud pool, people and stuff like that. I'm down for that. I'm down for watching people walk around in the nude. That's okay. All men, hopefully. Well, I'm
You gonna have
just
to open
being
that place
honest.
yourself, girl.
I
That's called
know
a
there's quite a
bathhouse.
few.
Okay.
Right,
That's a
Lamont.
dark room, girl.
That's a
Bathhouse
bathhouse.
daughter.
That's a sex club, buddy.
Oh, I'm so weak. Okay. Next we have group therapy or one-on-one sessions.
Lord, no, I'm definitely doing one-on-one. I don't need these people to know my business. What do you mean group therapy? They'll be writing a book and looking at me like I'm crazy and
I am
judging me.
weak. What
What
about
you
you,
say again,
Tony?
Lamont?
I probably
Right.
historically would have said one-on-one, but I think in light of kind of what I've been doing with the Taco Tuesdays and things like that, I have a newfound appreciation and value for group coaching or group therapy. So
Mhm.
that's new. But normally I'm with Lamont on that. Uh, Let me be by myself, but there's value in the group, I think.
I was going to say it would. No, go ahead, Lamar. I'm sorry.
I said, listen, Tony. So in Atlanta, I don't know if Elton John, the music artist, used to go to AA groups here in Atlanta, and everybody would spill his tea. Like, oh, Elton was here, he was this, and I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be anonymous and private and
Right.
confidential.
Exactly.
Point
But I
taken.
think for me, I've never done neither. So I think that group therapy would get me to want to go to one-on-one sessions, like
Mm.
hearing other people's stories, seeing how it resonates with me, trying that, and then maybe going one-on-one. Because I feel like one-on-one is too intense. I don't know. I just feel like, me and this other person, and I gotta really tell them my traumas. It would be like, okay, listen.
You'll get some results, Vaughn.
Girl, girl, listen. Okay, Tee-Nell, what about you?
I'm gonna probably say, depending on the topic for me, if it was just general therapy, yes, a one-on-one. But I do feel like sometimes group therapy helps. Like I haven't, I'm just getting back into therapy, and so one of the topics that we have not addressed yet is my father's death, even though that was over a year ago. And I think maybe that topic may be easier if I am around people that may have experienced a parental death, because it's kind of made me kind of cold as well. And I think hearing other people might help. But if we talk about my sex life and stuff, oh no, by myself, please.
All by
Can't believe that.
myself.
You a
Yeah,
little vocal sis. I don't see you
but it's
being
okay.
closed
Here's
off
the
about
thing.
that.
Here's the thing. The girls, because I feel like Lamont, the girls not about to use my tea on me later. They're not about to use my tea. No.
Telling as country, the whole Atlanta know about Elton John. Okay, the whole
Yeah.
Atlanta.
And next thing you know, when we hit the red carpet, oh yeah, I remember Tee-Nell came to that session and he told us his fantasy was to be a cum dump. What?
Oh,
Well, is it?
is it? Go
No, I
ahead.
didn't.
Spill the
No,
tea,
no, I
girl.
did not. I did not say that. No, 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 no.
You got to go get lubed up before you go actually have play.
Mm. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But you said we were saving that story till
We
later.
are.
And it's not about me,
We are.
y'all. So y'all listening. I know y'all think y'all got some tea. Don't text me yet. Text me when you watch the full episode, okay?
Okay, so next we're gonna go a day with your ex or a day with your first.
I'm gonna let Tony go first with this.
The blood of Jesus. My God. Okay. A day with my ex or a day with my first? I'd say a day with my ex. I don't think I have any ex that I despise or that I am despised by. So I think that maybe going back and having a day with the ex might actually, I think it'd be okay. Don't do that, White. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Your gay dating coach tennis, it's just ringing, isn't
It's
it?
like,
I didn't say nothing. I guess
What about you, Lamont?
would so since my first was so long ago, because like decades ago, I would say with my first, just to be like, hey, how are things going? Because I haven't
Just to
seen
catch up.
decades. Yes. Now, is it my
Tee-Nell.
first man or woman? Is the question? Which was the
Ooh.
question?
Yep. Either one.
Yeah, my first. I'll let that be a mystery.
plot twist.
Production said,
what?
now wait a minute. Production wasn't ready for
Yeah,
that
you
question. They
wait a
said, wait a
minute,
minute.
I am weak. Tee-Nell.
Definitely not my first because he's DL. So it'll probably be. I have an ex right now. I'm so proud of him. He is accomplishing great things. He's graduating with a degree, and he's doing very well. And I really would love to spend a day with him just to ask him why the fuck you didn't do that when you was with me. That's what I would want to ask him. But I also want to just hang with him. He's a nice guy, just an asshole, but that's how we like him around here.
That's how you like him, girl.
I was like, no, we don't like them.
That's a personal thing, girl. Don't put that on me. I don't
It's
want
like
it.
a little bit.
don't
Trust
want
me, I'm
it
not
at
the only
all.
girl out there. It's somebody listening right now that like, yeah, he could be an asshole just a little bit. What about you? Because you have a very interesting
I
repertoire.
don't have neither of these. I don't have an ex. I've never been with anyone. And then my first
You've
is
been with
married as
somebody.
well. He's married he has a wife. So
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Check
neither
on him.
one. I definitely could check on him. I think it would be a very awkward situation, but I wouldn't mind talking to him. It's been so long. It's been like, what, 12, 14 years? So, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I could
Now
go
I
hang
do
out with
have
him and his wife.
I do have to ask this question. Jockstrap or brief on you?
Who? Yeah, he's talking
Anyone
to
can go
Tony and
first.
Lamont, the guests.
Breathe. Yeah. On me, breathe.
Mm.
Down for a jock. Why not? Live a little.
Vonn.J, I know you had to say G string or thong, so that's okay.
Yeah, I'm a thong boy.
I don't see how y'all wear those things. I feel like Monique that time she was on a Parker's joking, girl. That feel like a piece of dental floss in between my ass. No, thank you. Too
Gets
big.
Yeah,
lost
definitely
in there. Get
give
lost
me a
in there.
thong or nothing for sure.
Oh, cute. Yeah, I'm a jockstrap girly too. I love a little lift up. I wear them with my dress pants at work. It feel good. Make you feel sexy while you working. You should try it. And they say they're good to work out in. I don't work out, but they say they're good to work out in. Like a jockstrap is good, which makes sense because
Oh, really?
it started off as an athletic thing anyway.
Yeah, I don't wear underwear to the gym.
Sir, ma'am, they, them, there. What do you mean?
I don't wear
Just
underwear to
letting
the
it just,
gym. I'm
just
1000%. If my man is in the gym, I want him to know he can run me that. Yeah.
you don't need some support. You need some support, like, 'cause, you
I don't
know.
need no support. It's all good.
That's
Mm.
why they be kicking y'all out the gym. That's why. That's
Oh,
Out
why
the
they kick
gym.
the
see?
kids out. That's why. That is
You
why.
just be running everything, just shaking loose. Wow. You be in that cardio class just hanging.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
No couth. Last, I don't think you're ready for this, Jelly, just to get to know what kind of people y'all are for dinner. Chinese or Italian, or I'll say Asian or Italian food.
Down for Italian. You know, I love everything Italian.
Me too. I need the pasta. Give me the
Yes.
pasta.
The more the
I don't need
garlic,
the
the better.
carbs,
Yes.
but I don't need the carbs, but I definitely want the pasta for sure. Run me that.
Gonna be unanimous. I'm definitely gonna say Italian as well. Love some good Italian.
Mm-hmm. Miss Tee.Nell is gonna say Asian.
Yeah, I actually just ordered Chinese food before we started this because, yeah, I do like pasta, but it's something I can eat Chinese food every day. Something
All
about
right,
that
steam fried fried
sauce.
rice. Fried fried rice.
Yeah,
Like
I
some
love a good
Singapore
Asian
meat
cuisine.
bun. Yes.
Yeah, pad thai,
Yes.
roti, all those girls.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Italian food, you sometimes the words get long, and I don't eat or drink nothing I can't spell. Just saying.
Please.
Rigatoni.
Please.
Ravioli, me please. Spaghetti, sometimes.
A little lasagna.
Because some days that
Lasagna.
spaghetti trips me up. I'd be like, how I spell it again?
Hmm.
But no, seriously, thank you for participating. I don't think you're ready for this
I'm
jelly
weak.
as we warm
Yeah.
the night up. So clap it up for being a broken in thicket, Tony. You are now a part of the fam.
Made it through. I made it through.
So, yes, from there, we're about to get into the thick of the conversation. So, first, we have like a few little things because of me and my friends, right? We have these guilty pleasures. And I don't know how
Oh,
this play into, upbringing, childhood traumas, none of that. But my guilty pleasure right now is Ratchet TV. And it's really it's been on my every Sunday now we watch it, and I feel like I've always did this though. So is this a childhood thing that I'm kind of like getting into, and it's a guilty pleasure that I probably shouldn't have at this big age? But I thoroughly enjoy watching TV. Do any of y'all have any like guilty pleasures that y'all like to indulge in, that y'all probably should not be indulging in, or you feel like you shouldn't be indulging in?
Well, mine will be the most boring of all, I bet. Guilty pleasures. I probably overindulge in desserts. I
is
knew that
that
was gonna
code
kill
for
y'all.
something?
I do like cake. I don't know if that's code for something, but I do love I do, I do love cake.
What is your favorite dessert then?
Cake.
The cake. Okay.
Are we talking about a boy's cake or like
Yeah,
food
I
cake?
just was
What are we
confused.
talking about, Tony?
We're going
There's
the
no
cake.
confusion. It's the answer is the same all across the board. Um, I'm saying it's a guilty pleasure because right now I have not been prioritizing working out and being at the gym, so I really
Mm.
have not earned the amount of like cake and cupcakes and desserts that I've been eating. So it's quite a boring guilty pleasure, but it's about the only one I have. I don't watch much TV, so I can't comment on that on the
I need
ratchet
to
TV.
stop. I need to stop.
But I bet it's fun though. I bet it's good.
It's a good ghetto time.
Come out there
What
and
about
rock
you,
with it.
Lamont?
I'm definitely right there with you, Vonn.J. Now, does the balloon pop game on YouTube and Netflix count? Because I feel like they whitewashed the
I was
version
gonna
that's
say
They
on
definitely
yeah.
Netflix.
did.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get into it, and I'm like,
I've heard so many bad reviews about the one that's on Netflix that I haven't even watched it yet. And I love Yvonne Orgy, but I've heard that it's just not the same. It doesn't hold that, cultural feel
mhm.
anymore. So I haven't taken the time to watch it, but I need to watch.
Yeah. I'm fine with like the first episode being kind of like totally different, but I think the second one should be like, no, bring regular people back out here, the ratchet ones that we like watching. Like, yeah. So,
I
yeah.
agree. Okay, Lamont, pop the balloon. 20 versus 1. What about you, Tee.Nell?
I don't know if I have a guilty pleasure per se. Cause I feel like a guilty pleasure, you don't want nobody knowing. Everybody know I love a good edible. I let it be crossfaded. Y'all know I like to kiss
Crossfaded.
every now and then. I hope. Well, I hope my mother is not watching because my guilty pleasure will probably be baiting on camera. It's very people would not probably never guess that, but it's a thing.
I didn't think we were going there.
Well, you said guilty
But
pleasure.
I'm
I don't
glad
have
you
any
said
of.
that. I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you're open and honest about this. How are you going to deal with this once you get a partner? Are you going to continue to bait on camera? Oh no, it sounds like a guilty pleasure. It sounds like a little kink.
You do it on the jack? You do it on the jack? You know, they used to have this thing called Clubhouse where they used to do that.
House
Did
party,
they
you mean?
really?
House party, house party, house
Mm-hmm.
party. There you go. There you go.
Clubhouse is carrying like that.
No.
Yeah, house party was that girl, but house party got shut down, baby. It got too messy up in there.
Oh, it shut down.
Yeah, because the girls was allowing contacts and did not realize that, so they were on this thing, and baby, people's aunts and stuff would be like, "What's this?" And the girls just be going at it.
What?
Mm-hmm. So
Wow.
that's a guilty pleasure of mine. You know, no ties to people. You just do it, and I go on about my day. I'm gonna worry about was it safe or do they got anything, baby? We ain't even have to touch. Works for me.
Yeah. Let's have a little fun. A little razzle dazzle.
My biggest fear is to come on Lamont's show one Wednesday and somebody in the comments be like, "I think I know him." I'm be
I
like,
remember him. Because you like the Kiki.
He was upside down.
"Wow."
Hanging from the ceiling.
Right.
But no, that
I
is a
know that
guilty pleasure of
hand.
mine. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. So, but shout
Okay.
out to all y'all for admitting to your guilty desserts and shows and ratchetness. And I'll be yet praying for the girls that watch modern day slavery of black folks fighting each other for $1,000. But moving on to
Don't play with my girls. My girls on Zeus make a coin, okay? They're getting paid. My bills
yes,
are paid,
ma'am.
sweetie.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Don't fight me. But anywho, without further ado, it is time for some mind games as we spend the next couple of minutes just talking and shooting the breeze about some things that a lot of the girls have questions about. I know we have quite a few things to talk about, so I'm gonna just start the conversation with a question that Lamont you posed recently that I kind of want to just touch on a little bit, and that is: are the gay men still dating the DL men, and why? What is it about
Oh,
DL men that got the girls in such a chokehold?
I think there's this phenomenon, infatuation with men who are ultra masculine, who don't want to be out, that some gay men just find it thrilling that they're like, oh, I was able to get a straight guy or turn him. It's a sexual conquest. And okay, if that's great for sexually, but leave it there. Don't try to fall in love or try to make him come out of the closet or date him, because you're literally beating your head against a brick wall. That man is never going to come out the closet for you, ever. Like ever.
Yeah, I agree. I am a DL, connoisseur.
DL Hunter.
Apparently, because you at the gym with no drawers on, Jay.
Oh, it's not intentional. I honestly don't understand why. I always get attention of DL men for some reason. But on the flip side of that, Lamont, what happens when you're just messing with them? You're thinking that that's what they want, to just mess with them, but they on the other end start to develop like a feelings type of sentiment. Of course, it's not going anywhere because they're DL, but like they want to hug, they want to spend time, and it's like, oh no, babes, I don't want to do that. I'm here for one thing and one thing only.
I don't think you have to be cold because, you want to be warm and fuzzy, whatever, but clear lines that this is going nowhere. So, 15 minutes, let me call your Uber or I got to go. Like,
yeah. I don't like it.
Especially because then his girlfriend or his wife might be coming over soon. So why are you still there?
No, he come to me for sure. And
she's probably tracking his phone. So
catch the tea.
But no, yeah, I agree. I don't think that it should be like, I don't know. I just don't like the blurred lines. Like, I'm a very black and white person. I know what this is. I know what I came here for. I'm coming here to have a good time. You're coming to me to have a good time. And then you get out. I'm good. I don't want to cuddle.
Don't catch feelings with the trade. Don't catch feelings. That's how you end up on some murder mystery or Fox News.
It ain't going to be me.
I'm
going to be the one smiling in my mugshot. If the Y didn't have cameras outside with the gym that I go to, tires would be flat right now.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I do want to add a layer to that Vonn isn't just a DL hunter. She's a YN hunter. Let's be very clear.
What's a YN?
DL-YN
hunter? Hold on. You're not about to put that on me.
With the whole face mask,
young niggas. The young niggas. Unfortunately, I track those as well. So, not only am I messing with somebody who is DL, I'm also messing with people who are YN's category. So it's all bad, and I think they're, still trying to figure out their frontal lobe development. So, it doesn't always go as well, but we're here.
They're not even bathing good yet.
I'd like to see another day.
Yeah, I've always found it interesting. I think the part of dating DL men is also this in our community. The terminology has gotten misconstrued between DL, trade, discreet. It's too blurry because you're not about to tell me that you're dating a DL man and everybody in the room knows him from Jack. That man is no longer DL. That is out the window. That is the trade, okay? And girl, the trade is not the butch queen that's gay on social media. That's not trade. She is a butch queen down. That is what your butch queen is. We know she's gay, but she gives masculine. But the girls be getting it all misconstrued. But I'm going to tell you one persons that understand what it means to be discreet. Shout out to all my church girls. We are very discreet. We are gay. The girls know we're gay, but you don't know our business. We try to keep it very discreet. But we ain't hide nothing.
The church girls are discreet.
Huh? We be knowing.
Fucking each other. It's giving this y'all fucking the damn pastor.
And Jesus be knowing too. Okay, Jesus be knowing.
That's why y'all
Jesus be knowing.
It does says where two or more gather. Where two or more gather, we shall be in the midst, darling. That's what it says.
Yeah.
But no, I think the terminology get the girls misconstrued a lot of times because the girls get on social media and be like, "I'm done with dating trade." That was not the trade. Oh, I was surprised the trade that wasn't that girl. That was a gay man, and you just got caught up. That butch queen wore you out. She gave you the truth. She gave you the business. It was not the trade. A DL man, you're not about to tell me you found a DL man on an app. That's not a DL man. A DL man is I was at the gas station. We kind of made conversation, brushed up or somehow, and he got your number, followed you wherever. That's a DL man that got a wife or a girlfriend and kids. But girl, that boy that go to all the trips with his homeboys and ain't never had no girlfriend. And his family already hip. We used to call them back in the day the urban kids, honey. The urban kids. You know, it's a look that they got. They real polished looking men, and you can't quite put your finger on what's going on.
We know.
Tee.Nell, you need to do a class. Get all the terms,
Please.
get some definitions, so we
Mm-mm.
can all what they call
You
it,
can do an
level
episode on
setting.
that.
That's level set.
I just know
Word
this is how
of the
they call me
day.
the BQ Wrangler. That's all.
Tee.Nell's word of the day. I think you can do that.
Yeah,
Word of the
that'd be
day.
good. Each one
Today's word of
teach
the
one.
day: BQ Wrangler, Butch Queen Wrangler, darling.
You're a BQ Wrangler. We got the DL
All
Hunter
day.
and the BQ Wrangler.
Well,
Mhm.
because I don't see how she do it. I'm too old for that. I want to go out in public. I want to kiss and stuff at the bar. I want to have a good time.
Tee.Nell said, "I want to go where the people are."
Everyone deserves to
Exactly.
fly.
That's not me, and that's the difference. Like, I'm okay with being in the house. Like, she likes to be outside, gallivanting with the people, and I'm a in the house kind of girl. Me and my nigga can chill, do our big one in the house, and go about his business.
Yeah, go to your other family, boo. That's all right. But
Mm.
the girl there, it's not even like a far subject thing because I'm gonna also bring this into play. Last week on Lamont's show, we got to see how dating the YNs or dating younger people can really mess people mental up. There was a guest on Shoot Your Shot Wednesday that he was in his early to mid 40s. His partner was in his early 20s. They met when the partner was 21 and he was, I believe, 41 or something like that. And the conversation began to unfold, and it was given very much so. Y'all be dating these young men to have control or to feel like you're a superior, because for some reason you feel as though the people that are your age or in that category, you're not adequate enough to be on their level, or they seem to be of a bore to you. Like one of the biggest things that I said that don't make no sense. He said he got a younger boyfriend because he likes to do things, and Lamont said, "Well, what things are you saying? Going to the amusement park, going out, walking, and stuff like that." I'm like, "What?" So then later on in the conversation, the man says, "Well, I don't even like to ride rides." So, bitch, you're the old man. You don't even ride rides. So I want to talk
We go
about
out to the
age
music bar and you're not
differences.
even getting on the ride.
Yeah,
He cannot make it make sense.
it can make
I was sitting in the
sense.
comments like, make it make sense, sir.
No, so
You
I
like to
wanted
go
to
to
kind of
amusement
bring
park for
that
the
to the
funnel cakes like
forefront.
me?
Let's talk about that
Yeah.
age gap. Let's talk about what that looks like, especially from you two being of our seasoned saints, Tony and Lamont.
You
What
see how
does
they
that
clocked
look like?
that?
What does that look like dating younger? Like how young is too young for you, or how do you handle your friends? Because we know a lot of girls that do that. Though. No shade.
Mm.
Y'all gonna hate me for this, but whatever. It is too young when you are reliving your trauma through a relationship. And if you listen to what the man was saying, is that when he was
That
younger,
age.
older men would date him and take advantage of him and control him. So as he turned 43, he found a 21-year-old man and young man. I'll say that because at 21, you're still trying to figure out life, who you are, what you're doing. He said the young man, let me clarify, didn't even have a job.
And what would be attractive about that?
If you're reliving your trauma, then that's attractive.
You've chosen to relive your trauma? Like who would do that?
Someone who is unwell.
Unwell and also
Mental
trying. I
Health
feel like
Awareness Month.
I felt like I heard him say something about like trying to, I guess, change the narrative or something. Like I don't know. It was something to that extent. I felt like I heard in the conversation. But it's like, how can you change it if you're doing the same thing?
You're doing this, and I think there's a difference of a 30-year-old dating like a 45-year-old or even a 50-year-old. A 21-year-old young man is not fully developed. He has not lived the world. He's not had a chance to explore with his own peers to develop. No, you're going to stunt that man for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I
Because
agree.
I even loved when you asked him like what happens in a few years when he's older and he may want to dispense you because he basically doesn't need you anymore. Or what are you gonna do because he's not young anymore? You gonna go to the next young person? And he didn't have an answer.
Because he hadn't thought about it.
Yeah.
And he said that, Tony, I haven't thought about that.
That should have told him if the guy's intention, if the older guy's intention was as honorable as he tried to make it sound like, that should have been a telltale. Like there's, uh-uh.
And
He's
first
going
of
to
all, and
trade
why are
you
you
in.
even on this show trying to find somebody else?
Well, you know,
I'm clearly not enough. You missing something. You missing a lot.
But the boyfriend wasn't allowed to come on the show, which was that was red flag. You have a partner and one, you say you don't believe in putting all your business on social media, but when I go to your page, you post twice a day, every day, and nobody's asking for it because you only had 25 to 30 likes. And then number two, you have a partner, but he's not able to come on camera. You don't want nobody to see him. So the partner must be either fine or not fine, extremely not fine. The beauty of the eye of the beholder, and you feel threatened. Or three, you scared he gonna be woke like Donald Trump is against the Democrats, girl. You just don't want the girls to realize you on some bullshit.
Question if he's 21.
You think he's younger than that?
Likewise. You think he's younger, or do you think he's older?
Younger. Like if you're, why couldn't he come on the camera? We could hear his voice. He was talking to him while we were there. Why couldn't he come on there? Why? And you're looking for a third for both of you all to enjoy, not him separately. So my thing is, y'all got an open relationship. That's what y'all got. Let the people see who the third they're getting. Like, who's the other person they're signing up for?
Right. Right.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I could see that because he said he was in school and he liked to go to the library and read. Girl, that boy in college, early college, because ain't no senior doing that either. Please.
What's the guy from To Catch a Predator's name? What's the man? Something something
What's his
handsome.
name?
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen. Call him.
I am weak. Well, let me ask you this, Tony. Has this been a conversation at all around fellows or anything like that yet?
That's a good question. We have not made it to a conversation with regards to like age disparities. It's going to be one of our hot topics for the summer. We've been kind of reserving certain topics we weren't going to touch intentionally until we hit the summer months. It's going to be a doozy, I think. I have a little bit to add to that from my own personal experience, but uh, it should be interesting. And I agree with what Lamont was saying. I think there's a difference between a person who's, let's say, 45 dating a 30-year-old and a person who's 45 dating a 20-year-old. That 10 years makes a hell of a difference. And if an older person can't appreciate that difference, then I would question the motive and the intention of the older person as they pursue someone, for the most part, they would know is a lot younger than them. And that would come into question for me.
Yeah. I think we've all kind of been there, where being the younger person. Because I remember being younger, and I don't know why, but just fell in this trap of. First of all, we desire something that's so heteronormative. Because most of the time when we first come out, we want this man that watch football, and you want this masculine man because you're just used to that. But in turn, it doesn't happen. So you grow up later, and you're like, oh well, that's not going to happen, and I want a butch queen now, like me. But we always look for the word I used to call it stable. I want a stable man. I want older, stable. So I asked this question to ask you guys: what words do we give younger people that are dating and open to dating, getting to know people, how to handle yourself and to also avoid these predatorial situations?
I will say, and I mainly, as a dating coach, work with gay men, all ages, right? And when I hear someone say, "Oh, I want a man who's stable, who's this, who's that, who's blah blah blah," I would say to that person, "Be what you want. If you want a man who makes six figures, guess what? You make six figures first." Because nobody wants to take care of another person. And if you're looking for someone to save you, you will always be let down or always be under their thumb and have to do what they tell you to do. And if you want to live a life where that man who makes all the money or who's older is telling you what to do, and you're like, okay, I have no voice in this, then that's the bed you're going to have to lie in.
He's spot on with that. Because make no mistake about it, there's going to be a have and a have not, and neither are confused about what role or what part they play. And a person that has and is extra generous at the beginning just because they still know that they have the upper hand, and there's a price to pay for them divvying and sharing that with you if you happen to be the have not in that dynamic.
Yeah, yeah. And I am all for intergenerational dating. I love it. I have a good friend. They're 20 years apart, and they've been married for about 5 or 6 years, and they do very well. I think what I do see where they have, not this particular couple, but most intergenerational couples have, is as they get older, the dynamics change, and people are like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. I was supposed to be the older one in charge and leading and paying for stuff. And now you're younger and older and you want to have a voice. Or the one who's been given all this money and all this attention is like, wait, I feel like I'm being used all these years. But wait a minute, that's what you did in the beginning to get that man. So why are you mad that things are changing now?
Yeah.
The reality is, I think there's evolution that takes place all the time, right? So if you've got a couple that is closer in age, the challenges that they have to encounter and endure in their evolution, it still exists, but it's a different experience. Like they may grow apart. They're both 35. They still may grow apart in priorities as they evolve.
Yeah.
But to Lamont's point, that comes online is much more likely to come online, I think. When you're looking at those age disparities, because when you catch them both kind of still open and in their prime, someone who's 45 that's taking care of themselves is still presenting many times like a 35-year-old, and the other person is 30 years old. It kind of still looks and feels like we're the same, but as those years start to increase, I think that's where you start seeing the splintering and the cracks in the relationship.
And that's when people become open.
Wow, Vaughn. The girls be open sometimes before that. Maybe.
What did you say, Vaughn? I didn't hear you.
He said, and that's when the girls become open. When they start saying, we got an agreement.
That's a conversation.
It's okay. You know,
It is.
that's fine. You know, it is what it is. What works for you works for you.
But I
As
think
long as
that
it
leads to
works.
the yeah, and I was about to say that leads to the question: is it working? And I think when we talk about mental health, and we also talk about like being mentally strong in a relationship and having that foundation, a big thing a lot of people talk about are open relationships right now, because they have open relationships have opened the door for so many different type of agreements. And it's funny because we see our community try to box, you know how we try to categorize things, and it's no way of saying this is how it looks. It's just so different. I want to get our listeners involved and talk about this for a second. When you are dating and when you are in a relationship, what are some best practices to define what open is for you, and how to look for what works for you? Because I know for me per se, I'll start that off. I don't desire any type of I'm gonna just shorten that, poly relationship. But I am also open to when me and my man go to Africa or we go to islands and I see this beautiful man that I cannot get in my country. Can we invite him back to the room, babe? And can we make it happen? But when we go back to the States, I better not see that number, that Instagram. It is no more ties. We are back home, and that is it. That's something I would be open to. But we're not having he live on the other side of town, and he can, no, boo, that's too close for comfort. Every now and then, the anniversary or birthday, we go on out, we can parlay. But that's just what I do. But I'm always been interested to figure out how to figure out what works for you. And because I feel like a lot of girls don't know what that looks like, and then they meet people and they just kind of fall for whatever the man say because they just they just want to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, as you know, as a dating coach, I work with couples to kind of navigate this, whether if they want to be an agreement type relationship, poly relationship, or open relationship, because it looks different for every couple. I also work with individuals who are like in the dating phase and they're like, "Oh, do I want to be monogamous? Can I be monogamous?" There are people who are monogamous out there who are gay men, and they own that. That's the only thing they want. I think there's this hype, or people over sensationalize that every gay man wants to be in an open relationship. That does not exist. I think if you're trying to figure out, you have to figure out what is your relationship to sex. Is sex something that's casual for you, or sex that's something more sacred for you? And you have to sit down with yourself and figure that out.
That's
and
a
be
good
honest.
question.
Yeah, and there's a really good book called The Ethical Slut that kind of helps couples and individuals navigate, like put a light in your face, a mirror in your face to figure out like what really works well for you.
Wait, Tony, you said like you read that book. What that gave?
No, I do have the book. I started reading it. I've only been in one open relationship in my entire life, and
Wow.
it was during that time that I started trying to read the book. What I learned, that relationship is since passed. One thing I did learn from that is that the way that you go into an open relationship really matters. And I think in my context, there was a lot of resentment and unforgiveness for me because of the way that the conversation ultimately came to the table. And so even though we made the decision because we loved each other and we wanted to continue in relationship, there wasn't enough time in between what brought that conversation to light and us making a decision to do that. So I think it's one of those things like this is the churchy part of me. All things are lawful, but they're not all expedient. Just because you can, like, it's easier for us to we can all in the moment say, because we know we can be in an open relationship, like that's the only consideration. But the reality is there's a lot of work that has to go in, individual work and the work in the relationship in order to
Yeah.
even be able to navigate that conversation. I think it's a healthy conversation to have, because to me, the level of communication and understanding has got to take place even for the conversation to be had. To me, is telling, and it should speak to the overall health of your relationship. If you can't navigate a conversation about it, well, then from my perspective, you already technically have an answer. But what you build on those type of uh, circumstances or situations are very heavy. They are very weighty. And if you don't have a strong, firm foundation in your relationship, you need to prepare for the inevitable collapse, because that's just not something you can haphazardly put on top of love, commitment. All that is not enough on its own, from my personal
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, right. Tony, people feel like they can fix the relationship by opening it.
I was people.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
To your point.
It's like a woman who's like, "Oh, I'll get a baby to keep him with me."
Yeah.
Oh,
That's just more weight.
that's a good way.
All of that is more
Yeah.
weight. Getting a house, getting married, having a kid, opening up the marriage, it's more weight. And we think that is in some kind of way going to let the steam out of the situation. And you're compounding with every one of those decisions, and you're actually expediting the demise of the relationship.
Amen, brother. Amen. Amen.
The boys are teaching me
I
tonight.
always wonder how like that even comes to play. Like, like how do you even feel comfortable to bring that to your partner, and knowing them, they probably aren't even, even thinking about that, but in your head you're thinking about it. How does one even navigate that conversation? Like I like you said, I know it's supposed to have it needs to have a thorough conversation and understanding yourself and understanding your partner, understanding your relationship. But I know for me, that's nothing that's ever going to be in my head. So if my partner ever bring it to me, it would literally take a convincing, or I would have to just be like, okay, well, I don't think that I want to open a relationship. And if you're not willing to figure out how we can fix it, then I'm just going to have to part ways. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you have to, I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things. Is a lot of it's one sided in most situations. Like it's your thoughts and how you feel, and then you have to bring them to your partner. and then they either agree with you or they're like, I guess we can, figure out how to navigate that, because they love you at the end of the day. So of course they're going to try to figure out ways in which they can continue the relationship and, do what's best for their relationship if that's what you want. But I don't know, that's just
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a hard topic.
it very much
Yes,
is.
I feel like in any relationship, whether you're dating or in a relationship, nothing should be off the table. Like, you want your partner to be able to share intimate things
Mhm.
that he or she might say, "Oh, you're not going to be okay with this." But at least we were able to talk about
Right.
it. Like, at least he trusts you enough that you're a safe enough space that he can say, "You're not going to judge me, and I can say this to you, even though we might not agree to do that. But at least I trust you," because if he doesn't feel safe enough, guess what he's going to do? He's going to go do what he wants to do anyway with somebody else.
He
More
for the
important.
street.
That's more important than the outcome. And I think we only have conversations for the outcome, for the decision that's made, but we don't understand that the strength and the resilience and the longevity of our relationships, it is all contingent upon how well we navigate conflict. I'm not talking about combativeness. I'm just saying when there's not alignment initially, or we're not seeing eye to eye on a thing, you still have to walk through those paths, because that's what
Yeah.
helps to strengthen and fortify the relationship that remains, regardless of the outcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's intimacy right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's what you want in a relationship.
It's beyond my level of understanding.
Yeah.
When you be like,
Yeah.
but on your inside, you be like, "Oh my God, he really brought this to me." But you're like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, I'm happy he's,"
Yeah.
Talking about it. Yeah.
But this goes back
Yes.
to, I think, the overall point of this conversation tonight about mental health and your personal relationship with mental health. If that thing is not online, if that thing is not being prioritized when you don't have a boo, when you don't have a boyfriend or a husband, then you are the litmus test. So you're writing that playbook for how other people are going to engage and treat you and relate to you. And if you don't have some of these things, that was my problem, is that I took my cues about having an open relationship and all those things just strictly from my heavy uh legalistic church upbringing. I never considered any of that, because hell, as far as I was concerned, I was going to hell for being gay anyway. Open relationship, I mean,
Right.
come on, that's the extra crispy part of hell as far as I'm concerned, right? So by the time I got to, what's wrong with Tee-Nell?
I have never heard anybody say that.
Well, I ain't never said it either, but I just
Tony King Solomon had how many wives and how many concubines? There was a lot of open relationships back then.
Listen, can we really
The
talk
girl
about
said extra
it?
crispy in hell.
The extra crispy side.
Bitch,
But
they
if you
want to be a
have to,
Bojangles 2-piece combo in hell.
but
But
we
I
think
feel what you
our
were saying though.
the conversations that we prioritize are at best are the ones that we're having with our prospective partners, but those conversations have to originate and have a home in you. And so some of the things that we haven't thought about, not from a judgmental place, but some of the things that we have not thought about are our actual invitations to sit with ourselves and think about the things that are going to that matter. You don't plan on being by yourself the rest of your life. This is something you need to think about, not because
Yeah.
you must allow it, but if you've not even processed it. And that, for me, even regardless of the outcome of that relationship, I grew. I'm the better for having walked through that entire dynamic, because it gave me a chance to deconstruct and disavow myself from toxic religious dogma, and really be able to get in tune with what I truly believe and what I truly feel. So it doesn't mean automatically I'm going to pursue another open relationship, or I'm not. But now I know what they say, and I can say for myself, hey, boy, shout out, I know for myself.
Oh, now the girls are speaking in tongues. You see how the girls brought that full circle? Okay.
And we digress.
She's about to walk heavy up in here. honey.
Okay.
as I get my drink, go ahead. Right.
Mother Elsie Shaw says, show. Let it be. Okay. But no, seriously. And that is one of the heaviest, like, I'm not going to say heaviest, but it's like one of those web conversations that we have, because people are just, some people are all for it, and you have this other group of people that are like, I don't know why I was there. Like, everybody want to be in damn poly now. Everybody want to be open. What a regular. And it's like, calm down, figure out what this is for you, all that good jazz, and everything. So I'm glad we kind of dived in that. And of course, I'm sure this conversation will be had more and more. But I want to ask you how did the brand come about? How did that whole, because I really wasn't expecting to see it on my timeline. I'm like, this looks amazing. Gay men getting together, look like somebody clubhouse or a venue and just talking. And the amazing part about watching the videos, either you have a very good public relations team, or it is true that people are really in there sharing. And there are people that are literally giving their attentive, undisrupted attentiveness. Like when you watch the videos, people are like looking at the person talking like, yeah. And it was just so amazing to see that. So how did all that become a thing?
Um, so Fellow was birthed in my heart. It's not even been a year yet. It was birthed in my heart back in June of last year. And it was really more so an answer to my own heart's cry, that I felt like that there was more that our community both needed and deserved than what has been typically and traditionally offered. And I don't say that in a disparaging way. I think that all things that we enjoy as a community have their place and they have value. But I just believe that there was more that we need and we deserve. Um, Taco Tuesday, that component was not really even a part of the initial idea. Fellow initially was supposed to be a community that was designed for BIPOC, gay, bi, trans men, and male identifying persons to find community support and empowerment. Later on, it was actually at the request of an organization here that was looking for. I do a lot of coaching and workshops and things like that historically, and so they were looking for some type of programming that they could use for their nonprofit that could be used as a weekly support group for Black gay men here in Dallas. I still don't know where Taco Tuesday specifically even came from in my mind. But I said I'm sure I can come up with some programming for that. That was in July of last year, a month after Fellow's conception. We didn't start anything until October, and then in
Wow.
October, we started, and I actually thought I was going to be coming in as like a facilitator to a group that was already in existence. And the nonprofit that I was kind of contracted with to do this program, when we first started advertising it, no one from their program came. It was only like the 11 people that we had invited kind of in conjunction. And that's how Taco Tuesday was born. In October, just a quick little plug, this October will be 1 year, our 1 year anniversary for Taco Tuesday. We are planning to have a conference here in Dallas to celebrate
Oh,
that. And I would love to have all of you guys here. And we'll talk hopefully more about
let me
that
put that on my
later.
calendar,
Listen,
Dallas.
especially given all this, but we did it. We launched it on the week of National Coming Out, that where National Coming Out Day is in October, and so our first series was literally about all things coming out. What we
Wow.
discovered very early on is that um, there is a very strong, sincere desire for us to connect. I have literally watched over these 6, 7 months now, people, me included, who have all been at the same venues, the same club, Sunday Fun Day on Friday, Saturday, and we literally walk past each other like the other person does not even exist. Again, I don't say that from a judgmental standpoint, it's just an observation. And I've watched those
Yeah.
same people who I have seen for the last 2 or 3 years, or other people I've seen for the last 2, 3, 5 years, come into this space and for the first time see each other and hear each
Mm.
other. I get
Yeah.
almost like teary just thinking about it, because I know that what we have been blessed to do is changing them on a macro and a micro level. And we don't have anything that's fantastic or professional as it relates to videography or any of those things. What you see, I wish I could. There's about 100 more of what you don't see than what we post, because we don't have the
Wow.
bandwidth. These groups are every bit of what you see. They sit and they listen and they affirm. And it's different when you go like to a workshop where there's an expert and everyone else is just supposed to learn best practices from them. But in these groups, people are simply saying, this is what's happened to me. This is how I feel. This is what I've learned. I'm putting it like we're having a potluck. I'm offering it up on this table, and whatever resonates with you, I offer it freely and humbly. And you see
Wow.
people walking away with tools. This is why I say, like, therapy and counseling is wonderful. It is essential, but it is not everything. There is a healing mechanism inside of our own individual and in our community that we are tapping into, that we are help people are coming on Taco Tuesday and they're calling that their therapy. They're coming to Taco Tuesday and calling it their church.
Love
You see
that.
what I'm saying? And taking nothing away from any of those things, but what about the people that can't afford therapy? What about the people that can't afford a counselor? And more than anything, all this is happening in community. We are hardwired for connection.
Yeah.
And so for people to come, and now I even can say I have an appreciation when we leave Taco Tuesday and I see some of those same people out again. One of the leaders coined a phrase: "Once a stranger, always a fellow." You come one
Aw.
time as a stranger, but when we go back to the clubs, this is what I'm telling you how it's changing. Now we're going back to the clubs week after week, and now the people you used to walk by like they didn't exist because they maybe didn't match your desired aesthetic or your look or feel or your crew. I don't care what you look like, how old you are, what your body composition is. We have been able to learn how to appreciate and truly value the person. And when I
Mm.
see them, I see a fellow, I see my brother. And it's my heart's intention to be able to partner where I can partner in other cities and build it from the ground up where there is no presence in other cities because we have the ability to change our outcomes. I don't want there to be another generation of Black, BIPOC, queer men who have to walk this journey out the way I had to.
Mm.
And I'm getting off my soapbox because I'm for real about this thing. So I digress.
Yes. I want to say snaps to that and kudos. I
Thank
Yes.
you.
I have to say I'm honored to not just have you. I'm honored to have you and Lamont because I feel like you guys are tackling two different phases of our community that are so freaking fragile right now. Dating
Yes.
and mental
Yes.
health. And people, when you say mental health, people automatically think schizo or they think these hard terms. But mental health literally just means my well-being and how I take care of myself. And that is something Black gay men specifically we don't. I know for sure, and this is something I've talked to my therapist about. We kind of go through some of us go through phases of punishment. Like we punish ourselves for being in this. We're not in our what my girl's songs say our soft era. We're not treating ourselves to reading and exploring and sharing and opening up and being in safe places because sometimes we feel like for the longest I know for myself, I'll speak for myself. I was wrong for being gay. I was wrong for being a Black gay man and in the church. So no, I don't need to be out with the gays, and no, I don't need to be hanging out because I ain't supposed to be doing this shit anyway. But then one day, child, the girls took me to a party, honey, and after that I said, "Fuck all that. I'm having a good time with my girls. I have a good time, like you said, being in a space where it don't have to be. It's not my. It's my church. It's my therapy. Being with people that look like me, that feel like me, that we're just talking and laughing. I mean, I really miss the era of what we used to call them get-togethers back in the day. The girl, just come over here, bring something. We just talk and have a good time. And it's good to see you curating a space where it's a get-together. The girls have just
It's
come and be
reimagined.
who you are.
Right.
You know, I do like to get dolled up. Vonn like to we put our boots on, we get our hair done. But sometimes it's good to just put our flats on, come over and just talk to the girls. And then we got Lamont on the rear end saying, okay, now that we're doing the work, did you learn how to be a good friend? That's about finding you a partner. And that is a whole nother topic that our community is real fragile about because of social media. We went through a pandemic. We're navigating this new era of being okay with being Black, gay, and open, and entrepreneurs and businessmen. And so you guys are really doing like y'all are superheroes. I'm praying that this year people like you all really get the acknowledgement that you should get because if it's not for people like you, we will probably be even more fucked than what we are at some points. No shade. I do want to ask this question, kind of lead to the wrap up. What it has been your favorite topic of conversation with fellow, and then Lamont, I'm gonna come to you next as what's been your most important or emphasis on dating in your most recent weeks and months.
Um, Jeez, that's a hard one. Tino, we've covered a lot so far. I think the one that was most compelling for me was the series we started the year off with, which was Live the Life That You Want. And I think it probably had a little bit more of a uh, coaching motivational component to it, even though it still was collaborative in nature. But I think it was a great way to start our year off and really begin to reimagine what's possible for us, as opposed to kind of just taking life as it comes and making the best out of it. We're like, no, you are a co-creator. You are the curator. You place the order. You are the one that's drawing up the blueprint. And to be able to see people walking into this new year, especially with all the craziness that we are dealing with, feeling like they had some sense of control and some sense of autonomy with regards to outcomes. I think it changed the trajectory of Fellow and Taco Tuesday. That's literally, as we ended that series, everything literally exploded in January, and it's not been the same since.
Wow. I probably should have been there because Vonn.J is working with me. I don't do well with large purchases, and I turned 30 in July of this year, and I'm having the hardest time saying it's okay to celebrate myself and it's okay to spend this money to celebrate myself. I got the venue now, so it is happening. But for it just was very hard. I don't want to cry. I say it's the money, but I know for me, first of all, I never would have thought I would have seen 30. I just, being a black gay man, you hear, child, they're gonna kill you, you're gonna murder you, you're gonna die from a disease, you're gonna catch something. And I have had the pleasure of seeing almost 30 years, but unfortunately, I've also buried people that I never thought I would bury, best friends, my father, both grandfathers. And so coming in a space of being, I'm like, you want me to do what? Throw a part? I don't deserve a party. I'm okay. And it's been, even Vonn.J, I haven't really had this conversation in depth yet, but hearing you talk about that era, being okay to live in your good era, celebrate yourself, take it's a thing that we don't talk about in our community enough. So I'm glad that y'all are having that conversation, because we do go through this self-inflicted phase sometimes because we feel like we shouldn't be doing it, so we should not be where we are and all the good jazz. So I appreciate that. I'm glad that's I'll leave that alone.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that you have to do and I get emotional when I talk about my friends, but like TJ don't understand the capacity of who he is in our lives as friends, his family lives. He's the oldest grandchild, so as am I. So I understand and relate to him on a whole different level of having to be that person that steps up when grandpa passed, or everybody, when parents are getting older now, somebody has to start cooking and somebody has to start curating the space for everybody to come together. So I think that he don't do it enough of actually celebrating himself. So I told him, girl, the money gonna come back.
Right.
Just go ahead
Yeah,
and
you
spend that
must.
little money
Yeah.
and
You
have a good
must.
time. You want your people together, you want people there to celebrate you, you want to be able to just bask in everybody being together at one time to celebrate you and making it to 30. Like you said, you didn't think you would be here, so
Celebrate yourself, allow
yes.
yourself to be celebrated, because you are worthy of an abundant life. And this hopefully will allow you to be able to get to the point of overflow, because that's how everyone else is supposed to enjoy and experience you. All these people that are needing you and depending on you, they're supposed to get you in overflow. When we start telling ourselves that we're not worthy of celebration, or it doesn't matter, or it's not that big of a deal, what's going to end up happening, the demand for you is not going to decrease just because you don't see the inherent value.
Right.
So what's going to end up happening is, from the deficit that you will have, you will then begin to pour, but the pour means that you're giving what you need. And I'm suggesting, like Vonn.J said, celebrate yourself, because your birthday is not anybody else's business. That's your job. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate that you are. Allow yourself to be celebrated by the people who appreciate who you are, and walk out of that motherfucker in July in overflow, and bless everybody who is privileged enough to be connected to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Lamont.
Y'all getting deep over here.
Right.
I will just say, as gay men, we have been sold a bad deal where we believe that we can't even celebrate ourselves, that we can't even create communities to connect our own tribes, that we feel shameful for even connecting with each other. And I say, listen, that is not going to be our truth. Celebrate yourself. And Tony, the work that you're doing is awesome, because I feel like acknowledging and loving yourself and being able to make amazing friendships, that's the foundational work that you have to do in order to be finding your husband and your partner. If you don't love yourself or have, genuine relationships, how are you going to invest in somebody and try to be in a whole relationship with them? You will tear that thing up. So no, kudos to all the work that all three of you are doing. I will say that.
You as well,
Thank
Lamont.
you. Thank you. And Lamont, I didn't forget our question. What have you been emphasizing the most in recent, I'll say, months, when it comes to dating in the queer community? Because I'm a friend of yours, and I'm holding on. I'm a friend of yours. We'll be really good friends one
Yeah.
day. But I've
Yeah.
been, knowing you for quite some time now, and you've covered a lot of things. But in recent, what's one out either you're covering the most or has been your biggest challenge lately?
So I know a lot of people know the content that I push out, but behind closed doors and when there are no cameras, I do matchmaking and dating coaching with guys all over the United States. And one of my matchmaking clients who I'm working with now, I'm coaching him, and he's makes a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of personality. And he's been gone on a date with this one of his matches for the past 3 months. And he's like, okay, I want to show him more of myself. And I'm like, sir, let that hair down. You should have been did this, because if he can't appreciate you for who you are, then
Right.
he is not a good fit for you. And I'm like, trust that I interviewed him. I vetted him. He wants you to be your authentic self. He wants more of that. And he does not want you to dim your light or pretend to be something that you're not. And I think so often we try to change for people just because we want them to stay around, because we're bored, we're lonely, or even horny. So you will change yourself. And it's like, no, be who you are. Yeah. So that's my message. Yeah.
Me and Vaughn kind of talked about that recently, like just being who you are and fuck it. Because I know, even, I joke about being the first lady or being a church girl. A lot of times when we were younger or in our previous era, the church girls would be like, oh no, I ain't gonna let him see me at church, or no, he can't, I gotta change my music. And I have gotten the era now when they talk to me, I'm like, now when you get in this car for a road trip, it's not about to be no trap music playing. It's playlist or playlist or playlist for days. Now we could meet in the middle. I'm gonna have some R&B for you, but I'm like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I've learned
Baby,
to when I go, I'm not changing. I went out a couple of months ago, and the guy told me at the end of the night, "You look really good, but you look intimidating." I said, "They're not the man for me. If I intimidate them, they're not the man."
Years ago, I dated a guy. He was like, you laugh too much, and I don't like your laugh. Well, guess what?
Lamont, I love your laugh.
Dude, we laugh about your laugh all the time.
It's
There's nothing
contagious.
I can do about that. I'm be on your nerves all day.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Let's just drop it here. Nothing I can do for you.
Definitely,
But no,
be
that
who you are.
Sentra, that Nissan Sentra, baby, is covered by the Spirit. Okay, that thing got gospel playing every time I get in the car. I'm like, Lord Jesus.
On the way to the club,
we went
on
to
the way to
church
the
on
bar.
Sunday, y'all. We went to church on Sunday with some of my friends, and a song played, and my friends didn't know the song. I knew the song. I'm like, how do I know this song? I'm like, TJ. Get in the car with him, and he's playing gospel music.
Because what people don't know is I grew up in, a lot of people do not know that meet me now because I'm so podcasty, or the girl got vulgar mouths. They don't know that I grew up in church. I was the choir director gay. I was the minister of music gay for a long time. Then the pandemic came and saved my life. I just decided to pause that and trade my communion plate into a brunch plate, and it's been great ever since.
And you're still having communion, huh?
Yeah.
But no, nevertheless, I mean, we've had a great time talking tonight, and I really just want to say I appreciate both of you, and of course my co-host Vonn.J, because it isn't easy doing what we do and leading the culture and the community. And I really appreciate both of you, Tony and Lamont, for joining us. And there's many more conversations to be had, especially when you're sharing a space and a stage with pioneers, is what we're going to call you guys tonight. In the community. So as we're wrapping up the conversation, I'm going to open the floor for, what did they say, closing remarks, as we wrap up tonight's conversation. And also let us know about any future events or anything you have coming up.
First, Lamont, you want to go, or you want me?
I'll let you go, Tony. There you go.
Well, thank you again for having me. This has been great. I got to buy one get one because not only I got Tee.Nell and Vonn.J, I got to meet Lamont. I see him from
Yes.
time to time on Instagram. Love his work, so it's a pleasure sharing this space with you tonight. Um, Fellow is intending to continue to expand and grow throughout the United States. We're trying to do our due diligence so that we have infrastructure that can withstand time. Right now we have our Taco Tuesdays in Dallas and DC. The ones in Dallas are weekly. The ones in DC, at least through the end of the second quarter, are once a month. The next one we have in DC is going to be on May the 20th, which actually leads into Pride weekend. I don't know if we'll have an overlap or not, but we'll be there on May the 20th, and we'll continue. I think Houston is the next city in the queue, but our intention is to go to as many other cities, not all major cities, because I think that's another opportunity out there for some of the smaller cities that often get overlooked that really could use the support. And even if there's just some modeling for what community organizing and building looks like, if we can even just impart that structure into some of the smaller cities to kind of bring them together, I think that's still a win. But you can follow us on most of the social media sites at Fellow US of A, like United States of America, that handles Fellow US of A. Or you can just go to our website at fellowusa.org, and we look forward to continuing to grow and to bringing our brothers together all over the country. So thanks.
Awesome.
I'm gonna say, Vonn.J and Tee.Nell, awesome work. Keep doing what you're doing, please. Thanks for having me back again. If people want to follow me, it's the Gay Dating Coach on Instagram. But if they want individual coaching or matchmaking, betterwaytomeet.com is the website. And this is just a special thing for Thiquetalk, I will tell you all, as I've been working out the logistics earlier today. I am going to be doing an event in DC on May the 23rd, which is a Friday. So, yes, so it'll be an in-person shoot your shot. I got a special collaborator I'm going to work on. So we're making that happen, okay?
We will be there. We will be
Yes.
there.
Definitely. I will
Yes.
change my plans around to make sure I'm there.
Yes.
Listen. Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm
Yes.
excited.
It'll be on a Friday. 'Cause usually I usually do it on a Wednesday
Right.
when I go to different cities, but in DC it'll be a Friday.
I will be there. I get there Thursday afternoon, baby. I will be there. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
We'll do
Vonn.J,
that
any
with
last
Thursday,
words?
Tuesday. No last words really. Just thank you both for taking the time to come on our platform and share this space with us. We appreciate you so much. Of course, Lamont, you've been here 3 times. You're a vet at this point. You are
Matching
the
outfits, like the
you are
coordinated.
the co-host, okay? But yes, thank you again for coming on. It's always a good time to have a conversation with you, get some knowledge from you. As you said, our season. What'd you say, TJ? Our season.
He's a thicket. He's a thicket now.
Pick that.
No, you said something about unseasoned peers, but something like that to that extent. But getting
Our
that
seasoned
knowledge
saints.
and
Mhm.
stuff, yeah, seasoned saints, getting that knowledge from you and stuff like that, it's always a good time. So thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Well,
Tee.Nell.
as I close out this episode, I want to say thank you to Lamont and thank you to Tony for joining us on this thick stage and having conversation. To all of you who are listening and watching, we will never forget you. And I want to always say thank you for supporting, sharing, subscribing, and building this platform and building our brand with us. I am really excited because this is a great way to kick off season 3 with an episode number 2 like this, where we're talking about topics, but we're also having fun discussing them. So for you that are watching and listening, we are open to hearing what you want to talk about. We're open to hearing what you want to discuss. Our job as Thiquetalk Podcast is not just to represent our thicker diaspora, as y'all love to hear me say, but it's to cover conversations that are not being had in your other podcasts or discussions. It's a place where we want to talk about things that might be a little more dicey. It might be a little hard to talk about, but we're going to do it while we are graceful and in good spirit. So I say to all of you at home or in your car or wherever you're listening this to, thank you. And thank you for your support to Lamont, to Tony. You are always welcome back. I'm sure we would meet again on this stage. And I'm excited to see you at DC. And hopefully Tony, I saw him trying to write something down, so hopefully he can make it work, and he's there, so we will make it happen where we all are in the same room. And to all of you who have reached out about us hosting and doing things, thank you for thinking of us. As we build the brand, I don't know if me and Vonn.J are really ready to do this, but we're gonna do it. Because we have people like, hey, in person, and we want to see y'all do this or this, that, and the third. So thank you for the support. But without further ado, oh my God, so bad. Thank you to our production team, darling. Y'all know I got to make everything about a moment, but thank you to production for making this happen. But until next time, this is Thiquetalk Podcast. Don't forget to visit Fellow of USA. Don't forget to visit the Gay Dating Coach of Atlanta. And don't forget to visit thiquetalk.com for all seasons, as we are on season 3, for merchandise and more. But as for now, I want you to keep it cute, keep it real, and I want you to keep it thick. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for listening.